What's up everyone, this is Valgriz here, and today I'm going to show you guys how you can do this X-ray vision effect in Adobe After Effects. And despite the complicated look, it's actually a very simple effect to do, and if you're a beginner to After Effects, or any editing program for that matter, this tutorial is definitely good for you because it's going to go over some key elements and effects that you're going to want to learn if you want to become an editor. So right here I have the composition that I used to create the video that you just saw. And these are all the layers I used. I did this twice. The first time didn't look as good and was a lot more complicated. And this right here is pretty much simplified. It's 7 layers, and you can probably do it with 5 or 6 if you want to, but I added an extra one just to make it look a little bit better. So first I'm just going to go over what all the layers do. That way it'll give you a better understanding of what I actually, what my thought process was while making this. I pretty much started from the ground up with this. I started from here and then went up, but I'm actually going to go the opposite way while presenting it to you. So right here, pretty much all these layers are named the same thing, and I don't really, care about that too much, but when doing tutorials I want to kind of name them different, that way you guys can keep track of what's what. But for this I'm just going to explain to you what it is. Pretty much right here, by clicking this eyeball, it's going to either enable or disable the layer, that way you can see it or not. This right here is actually not needed, but it gives it a little better look. As you see right here, I kind of messed up one of the masks. And without this layer enabled, you see these little lines on the side and on the top a little bit. So when I enable this layer, it takes away those lines and it makes it look a little bit better. This layer right here is actually a mask for the gun, as you can see. Let me just put it right here. Okay. Without this mask enabled, it actually the infrared vision actually goes over the gun. So by enabling this layer, it's pretty much just a mask, as you can see, that covers the gun and therefore preserves its colors. Right here, this black solid is the outline of the guy. As you see right here, I don't know if you guys noticed, but this little guy is blinking red. And you guys can add a beeping sound or whatever you want. You can just search YouTube for beeping sounds and download it, whatever you want to do. This layer right here, mask, is the whole entire mask of the doorway, as you see right here. Right here, SADS, SADS or whatever. I kind of just label it something random, and my hands are always on the WASD keys. But pretty much it's just the grid. I created it in Photoshop, very simple. As you see right here, just a simple basic grid. You can either search Google for it, or I'd actually recommend you making it yourself because it's just it'll be more custom for what you're doing. Right here we have No Scope Vegas AVI, and pretty much this is just the clip with the invert on it. And then right here is the actual clip, which gets played right here. So pretty simple, as you guys can see. It's mostly just masking. And I think you guys, if you're new to this program, maybe not, but if you've used this before and you're familiar with the controls, I think you guys will catch on quite quickly. So right now I'm just going to actually I'm just going to delete all these layers and save it as something else. Save just random letters, which is what I do. Actually, I'm going to do that in tutorials. Alright, so now we're going to start back from the ground up, and we are going to go through it. But let me just get something to drink, because I'm thirsty. Alright, now let's get to it. So here's my old composition, or my new composition actually. Here's my actual clip. SADS, there's the grid. This is actually a target effect that I used in the previous. I did a couple versions of this, but I'm not even going to use this, so I can just delete it. Pretty much all we're going to be working with is, I can delete this too, is the clip and a grid, and that's it. So first you want to drag in your raw clip, and this AVI is about 2 gigabytes, I believe, maybe a little bit less. So just drag in the raw file, find the exact spot where you want to begin. So you can use your page up, page down keys until you find the spot where it's supposed to begin, or where you slow it down. I use velocity and Twixtor because I recorded this at, I believe, 120 frames a second. I use fraps, so I mean I could have done a little bit better. I could use AVI demo, but for a quick tutorial I just use fraps. So right here is about where it begins. Okay, so because my computer's messing up, I'm thinking about reinstalling After Effects, but I don't want to mess up all my plugins and stuff, so I have to see. But usually if you hit Control-Shift-D, okay, it works now. Last time I tried this tutorial with Camtasia Studio, I believe I used, It wasn't working, but now it is, so I guess we don't have to worry about that. That's why I'm using fraps, because Camtasia Studio just gives me problems for some reason. I'm not sure why. I know it's supposedly like a superior software. Fraps is just basic, but I like Fraps. So right here is where it begins. So you want to make sure you hit Control-Shift-D and then delete the bottom layer. This is going to leave you off with just the standard little mask right here. And then you can end it wherever you want. Again, Control-Shift-D and then delete this. It's pretty much the same as hitting S in Vegas. And right now we're going to have a good 2 seconds of this clip playing, and for now on, this region right here is going to be really all we're working with. So you can just drag these little, I forget what it's called actually. It's not called a loop region in After Effects. I forget what it's called, but you can drag those things if you want. It might make it a little bit simpler on you, especially if you're RAM previewing. RAM preview, for me, I'm not sure if it's default, it's the 0 key on your numpad. So if you hit that, it's going to RAM preview. This right here, RAM preview. And let's go on. So I'm just RAM previewing this right now. I don't want to mess it up halfway through. As you see, pretty much it's just a clip that just freezes, and that's exactly what we want. So now that we have this, we're going to duplicate this layer. And now we have, actually duplicate is Control-D in case you don't know. And I'm trying to think of what I did first. So I know the first thing I did was actually mask out the door. So for this one right here, this bottom layer, I actually applied just an effect to it. Any effect really will work, but you want to make sure you have the middle layer selected. This is key. Go to Effects, go to, where is it? I think it might be Color Correction, maybe? You should see Invert. Maybe it's under Channel. Yeah. Go to Effect, Channel, and then Invert, and then you're just going to see nothing right now. And you should be seeing nothing. That's because you applied it to the middle layer, and obviously the layer on top of it is blocking it. If you uncheck this little eyeball right here, you should see it being inverted. Now, that's okay. We're going to change that, and I'll show you guys how you can change it to give it like an RGB split type of effect. Now, what you want to do is you want to mask out the door by hitting G, and that's going to give you the masking tool. You just want to... Pretty much, you can just mask whatever you want. I'm just going to mask like from right here. Okay, you can hold in Shift to give yourself a straight mask if you want. You don't have to. I am just going to redo this mask so it looks a little bit better. I'm going to start from right here. Go up to right here. Give me a second. The other day I was doing the tutorial and I forgot I was doing it, so I was quiet for a couple minutes. It was really weird. But I think I almost got this. Oh, no. I want it to be like, you're never going to make it perfect, but I want to make it as close to perfect as possible, just so it looks a little better. Okay. That looks good. Now you're going to have a regular mask. You're just going to see, like, the regular clip, then you're going to see it being inverted. What you want to do is then click on the down arrow on this, click on down arrow on mask, and down arrow, or you don't have to click the down arrow. Just click on add right here and make it be subtract, and now it's going to subtract the mask, and now you're just going to see this. And that's perfect. It's all you want to see right now. This is pretty much the basis to everything you're going to be doing. So now that you have this middle layer right here, double click it. You can open your own composition, whatever. Really all you want is this little thing right here that says effects, or you can just click this down effect, whatever. And you want to change this. Instead of being RGB, you can change it to be HSL, which I know gives you this, like, pretty much it's just like HS, if you know what any of these terms mean. It's kind of hard to explain what they all mean, but I believe I use saturation for the, it pretty much it completely saturates the clip, and that's what I like. You can even add like a X-ray, not an X-ray, like a night vision over it, whatever works for you. You can even add some graphics. Just get creative with it, find something that you like and stick with it. If you find a better effect or whatever, you think you have something better than what I do, or even if you don't, I want to see what you guys have. You can post this video response below. Excuse me. I'm starting to tangle my words. I don't know. When I talk for like 10 minutes straight, I kind of start to do that. Anyway. Okay, so yeah, if you do this effect, I would really appreciate if you guys can post as a video response so I can see what you guys are able to do with this. Try to change it up. I want to see what you guys can do. I don't just want to see my same effect. I want to see it, changed a little bit. So right now we have this. Pretty much, you don't need to do much of, you don't need to do much work to the mask. You can keyframe the mask if you want, but to keep this tutorial a little bit simpler, you don't have to. If you apply Twixtor and you put the velocity or the speed down really low, you shouldn't really even need to keyframe the mask. So you should have just, once this little clip right here starts, you should just see the red, the green, the blue, or depending on the color of the map, it'll obviously vary, but you'll see the saturation be maxed up until this clip ends, of course, and then it's just going to go back to normal. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go to this bottom layer right here, and you're going to create a mask. So again, you can hit G, or you can just click this little button right here and create a mask. Make sure it goes under the doorway. So just go like that, and I'm actually going to start over here. Under the doorway, like this. Okay, like that, and then like that. Okay. So now what you can do is you can double click this little thing right here and then drag this up. And now you're going to notice if you hit enter, half of it is with the effect on it, half of it's with the saturation effect, and the other half of it is not. So what we want to do is we want to add a little feather to it. Not a lot, because a lot of a feather is not going to look really that good. But right here, if you're going to click on the down arrow under mask on the middle layer, click down arrow, change the feather right here to be like, let's see, maybe 50, I don't know. That looks like it's good. So change the mask to be 50, or depending on what the composition, like what the resolution is, you might want to change it around a little bit, but I'm using pretty much standard definition for most montages. That's 1280 by 720. I'm going to work with full 1080 for now. Well, not for now on, but I'm going to attempt to work with full 1080. So it's going to be 1920 by 1080. But for this one right here, just a simple tutorial, I'm just going to go with 1280 by 720. And a feather of 50, I'm using 51, whatever, should be good enough. So right here, you want to keyframe mask path, okay, and you want to double click this and then just drag this all the way up, okay, right here. That way you cannot see it. Okay, go, you can hit enter, go maybe like 5 or 6 or however many frames you want, double click this again and drag this all the way down. So it's like that. Hit enter again, and now when you play it, you'll notice that the mask slowly comes down, or fastly, or I don't know if fastly is a word, but pretty much you're going to notice that depending on how many keyframes apart these two keyframes are will depend on how fast the mask comes down. As you can see, pretty self-explanatory. I'm just going to drag this back, save it, and I'm going to RAM preview. Again, O on the numpad. You do not have to have numlock on for that, so just in case you're wondering. And that's kind of fast, so let me just drag this out a little bit. Once this loads, I will play it. And that actually looks pretty good. It's a little bit short. This whole entire clip is short, but for this tutorial, it'll more than demonstrate what I have to. So now that you have that, that's the basic effect. Now you're going to want to add the grid effect, and I will show you guys how you can do that, and I'll show you guys how you can outline it. I think that's all I did, right? I'm trying to think of what I did. I'm pretty sure that's it. So now what you're going to do, now that you have this, is you are going to add the grid effect. And the last thing you want to do is then create a mask around the player and the gun, but we'll do that later. So this little grid right here, change it to be add. I could have just, because it's in Photoshop, I could have just made there be no background, but I don't know why I like to do the black background. Change the scale a little bit. This looks about good. Where is this? Now you want to drag this right under the first layer, that way the mask is in front of it, and that way you see that. You also want to change the opacity to be a little lower, like this. And I'm going to put the opacity about, 38. I'm using 38. You can use 40, maybe a little bit lower. This looks good. I'm going to put it at 25 or 26. And now you're going to have something that looks like this. Okay? And that's pretty much all there is to it. Now what you're going to do is you're going to create a new solid layer. So go to layer, new, solid. Just create whatever you want to name it. We'll name this fill, because we're going to use the effect fill to fill in the person red or whatever color you want it to be. Change the mode to be add. I'm not sure if this works on adjustment layer. Certain things do, certain things don't. You can disable the mask if you want, not the mask, the what is this? The grid, and then change this to be full. That way you get a better look at the opponent. Go to a mask, and then just create a small mask around the player, and it doesn't have to be exact because when the person's that small, it's not really gonna look that good either way. So you're gonna want to add a feather to it. So just go to Effect, go to Generate Fill, and then by default it's already a red fill. You can just keep it that way. You can change the color if you see right here under Fill. Just change the color. Where is it? Effect, Fill, and then you can just change this color to whatever you want. I'll change it. I don't want to make it be a color that's already in here because blue is like already in here, green's already in here, orange not really, but I think red's probably the best color. So keep it with red or whatever other color you want. And then under masks, for feather, you just want to slowly turn the feather up a little bit until you have something that looks like this. And it's okay, you have the dark outline. That's what's going to give it, more character. It's going to make it look better as opposed to just a solid color. It's going to give it like more depth, and that's what's going to make it look overall better. And you'll start to notice these things. Like, I don't consider myself like an amazing editor, but you just got to think about things like before you actually do it. Think about how it's going to look. And yeah, so pretty much once you have that, you can enable the grid again, and you can turn this back down to half or full, whatever you want. I can actually put it to full because I'm only rendering this small region right here. Make sure that you turn the opacity of the grid to, let's see, right here. Once this mask is filled, keyframe the opacity at 25 or whatever other number you want it to be. And right here, when it's not filled, keyframe the opacity at 0. Okay, and now it's going to slowly fill in the mask, the grid, and then same deal with this right here. As you see, keyframe the opacity at 0 or at 26. So I'm using, and then keyframe it at 0, and then it's going to slowly decrease, as you can see. Okay. What else? Okay. I'm gonna show you guys how to make the red blink. Pretty self-explanatory. If you just mess with the opacity, start the opacity off at 0. Okay, the opacity is under transform, in case you're wondering. Right here, transform opacity. Nope, it's actually not. Under fill, you can go to either the fill opacity or the transform opacity. I'm just going to use the fill opacity. So go under fill, whatever layer, go under effects, fill, and then opacity. Keyframe it at 0. Okay, right, like here. And then I'm just going to do this really quickly. Go about 3 or 4 keyframes, whatever. Put this up to 100. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. Keyframe it down. You can copy and paste this if you want. Every so keyframes. I don't know how it, I don't know what you want to do, but just keyframe it. Do whatever you want. And this is going to make it blink. So you can just highlight it all. Control C and then Control V is going to paste it. Just make sure you click opacity. Okay, same deal with this. Go a couple frames and then do the opacity. RAM preview it, and then what else do I have to show you guys? I think that might be it. I think I'm leaving out something. That's pretty much it, actually. As you can see, it looks pretty decent. Oh, and then one more thing I have to do is just create a mask over here, and I'll show you how to do that. So last, or second to last, you want to also make this mask disappear. So while the grid slowly fades with the opacity, you want to, I'm just going to minimize all these layers so I get a better look overall. So yeah, I've only used 5 layers so far. No, yeah, 5 layers. And in all, it's only going to take about 6. So right here, where is it? Is this it? Nope. This is it. Okay, you want to go to no scope, click on the down arrow, click on the down arrow under masks. Sorry about that. And then right where the grid starts to fade, you want to keyframe mask path, and then go a couple frames, double click these little points, and then just drag it over. How come it's not? Okay, there we go. Drag it over, that way either the left or the right, or you could even keyframe opacity for this. I don't really like how it looks when you keyframe opacity for something like this, but do whatever you feel is best for your montage. Again, I'm going to RAM preview it and then show you guys what it looks like, and then I will do some finishing touches, and then that's pretty much it. Pretty simple effect. Definitely with some good music to the background, it'll definitely look really good. So I'm interested in seeing what you guys have to show me. Pretty much it. Really self-explanatory. Now what you want to do is you just want to duplicate this layer right here, or any of these layers, as a matter of fact, by hitting Control D, dragging it to the top, okay, and then deleting all the effects by just clicking on effects, hit delete, clicking on masks, and hit delete, and then right here what you want to do is you want to hit G on your keyboard, and then you just want to mask out the gun and the hand and everything else you want to be not affected by the invert. So I'm just going to do this fairly quickly because I already have my example done. Usually I use the same examples that I do in the tutorials, that way you guys can see like exactly what you're going to be doing, but I did a pretty accurate representation and there's no need for me to re-render it. And you're also going to want to add a little bit of a feather on this, not a lot, but I mean, I'd recommend you do a little bit of a feather because there's no way you're going to be exact, and it's going to look bad having a really fine line between infrared, or I keep calling it infrared for some reason. There's going to be a really fine line between inverted and non-inverted, so this is it. Just do this. Okay, actually I want to also, right here, I want to key this guy out right here, so like that, like so, and then once you get to like right here, once it like goes past the doorway, it doesn't really matter so much, you can just kind of, you know, go wherever. Same deal with this, just do that, and then now you're going to notice that everything else except your gun is affected within the doorway, as you can see. You probably don't even have to add a feather, but should I? I'm not really sure. I'm going to add a really slight feather, just to make it a little bit smoother, almost like anti-aliasing, like on a computer, if you play on computer. Kind of the same thing. Oh, masks, here we go. Just to give like a little blend between the, you know, the infrared, I keep calling it infrared, whatever it's called, the invert and the regular. I hope I'm talking loud enough for you guys. I just installed a new sound card on my computer for Tritons, but I'm actually not using them right now because the mic is broken on it. So I'm hoping you guys can hear me enough. So just put the feather really low at like 10 maybe, or maybe not even that. Yeah, that's kind of too much, just like 5. Alright, that looks pretty decent. Pretty much it. I know I've kind of like pre-rendered this, or RAM previewed it like, you know, 10-15 times this whole entire tutorial, but I'm going to do it one more time and then I'm going to finish this tutorial up. Okay, there you go. That's the effect that I just showed you guys how to do. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please give it a like. I know I have not uploaded a tutorial in a while. You would think in the summertime that you'd have more time to do tutorials, but in reality, I mean, it's the summertime, it's nice outside, so you don't really have the most time to, you know, be on your computer messing around with this kind of stuff. So I really hope you appreciate it. Give it a like. Maybe, you know, I mean, I know I have a lot of fan support by my subscribers, and definitely I want to try to do more frequent tutorials, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I want to do something that I haven't seen anywhere else, and I haven't seen this anywhere else. So this is how you do it. This is how I did it, and hopefully you can do it this way too. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, thanks for liking, and thanks for doing all the other stuff that you guys do. I know a couple people messaged me and they said, you know, thanks, you know, my friend showed me this channel, I really like it, so, you know, congratulations to you. So thanks for watching, and have a great day.